Howdy, howdy, it's your old pal, Tiki the Hut. Thanks again for joining me another Too Late Tonight with Tiki. I know it's the cultists. We've been painting them a lot. I appreciate you bearing with me. I am trying to finish them for the actual vow coming up. But this should be the last day we're working on them. Even if we don't finish them on stream, I'm definitely going to finish them probably to tomorrow in between work and the stream. So tomorrow I should have some new stuff to paint instead of just these cultists over and over again. But I really want to finish my cultist. I love them so much, I'm so close to finishing them that I hopped on Easy Army, which I always recommend. I'll throw a link in the chat for you guys to take a look at. I hopped on Easy Army and took my 500 point cultist Imhotep army and built it out to 1,000 and 1,250, and then ordered the models I needed. So I have some more mummies coming in. I have some werewolves and Anubis headdresses coming in. So pretty excited. But that's it. So like I said, Nox and the Moon's done, the mummies are done. I just gotta finish up the head priestess and these cultists, and we'll be good, because the thing's already finished. So I really just gotta neaten up some details. We gotta do some skins, some gear equipment here and there. And then we gotta do the bases. And the bases are gonna be done in Algerian Badlands. I'm excited to use this. I hear good things about it. I'm totally excited to use it. It should be pretty neat. Pretty excited. Here you go. I dropped a link in the chat to Easy Army in case you want to kind of follow along and kind of build your own. Should be pretty neat. Don't mind me, I'm just kind of refreshing my settings a little bit, get my little Tiki mask, Tiki face thing working again, and then away we go. Also, if you guys have seen the stream before, there's an outro song that I created using AI. I've actually been working on a second song, kind of just for fun. It's been super busy at work, you know, too busy where I can't really do anything else, but I can like kind of check some other websites. So on my breaks, I've been working on a second AI song, so I'm pretty excited. I'll see if I can have that ready by Monday. Overall, I think it's pretty cool, and I'm pretty excited about it, actually. Truth be told. So you may be asking yourself, like, how come you're not working on any Japanese models? You know, clearly your channel's kind of known for being a Japanese player, very Japanese themed. We can see your background, you nerd. Why aren't you doing Japanese stuff? I'm waiting to get my paws on the 3rd edition book for Bolt Action. It's just one of those things. I don't want to start building models that, you know, I likely won't be able to kind of use, if that makes sense. So I have like a whole list of things I'm ready to build, but I just kind of want to wait. And it's not like a, you know, a whack, you know, I want to be super competitive, I want to win. No, it's just, I don't want to build something that and what I mean is that, like, I literally can't take. Because I think, yeah, it's supposed to drop this week. I ordered mine from Warlord Games directly. I know a lot of the more special units will probably be hidden behind Armies of Nation, you know, quote unquote. So I have to wait until Armies of Japan comes out. I just don't want to, like, build something kind of unique. And a lot of things the Japanese are pretty unique. I don't want to build something unique and just basically not be able to field it on the tabletop, if that makes sense. And I know, I could ask people, I'd be like, hey, you know, I know people who have the book early. I'm like, hey, let me know what you have, da-da-da. Nah, I'm not going to do that. I understand. A lot of people know, no shame on people who have the book early. You know, no shame to people doing drip feed. It's good for YouTube channels and it's good for Warlord Games, and I'm happy about that. Whatever promotes Bolt Action, I'm all on board for that. I just don't like getting stuff early. Makes me feel weird. Old man Nixon. Hey, welcome to the stream, brother. Yeah, mine's in the mail. I actually just recently ordered. Because I'm in the States, so I wanted free shipping. Yeah, at first I was like, $50. I was like, that's gonna be like a thick book. It's like, it's gotta be a thick book, and I saw it literally is a thick book. I was like, oh, okay, that checks out. But I needed $80, I guess, for like free shipping worldwide. So I think I ended up getting a Japanese landing craft. And oh, there's a unique model because it's Warlords Open Weekend. So I grabbed that to give away as one of the prizes for my Bolt Action tournament, Clash of the Caribbean 25. Yeah, I hear it's a thick book. It makes me feel a little bit better. I mean, I don't mind paying like a little bit more expensive for Warlord books and Warlord dice, like order dice, because their models are so much more affordable. If that makes sense. I don't want to say cheap because they're not, but just before I logged in, I was checking Amazon. I saw a box of British Airborne, not the starter box, but just a box of British Airborne troops. 30 troops for like $31 with Prime. I was like, Jesus. That's awesome. That box, they come with PATs and sniper teams and shit on the sprue. I am excited for the appendix. As someone who has to keep looking up rules in Conflict 47, oh sweet mother of all that is holy, am I excited for our operational appendix. That almost sounds too good to be true. So it's just a heads up, I'm actually going to try and aim for a 3-hour stream today. I usually stream for 2 hours. I think I'm going to try and actually start trying to stream for 3 hours. And, you know, maybe try it this week, see how it feels. So if you guys are, you know, want to pop in, pop out, if you guys want to stay the whole time, that'd be awesome. So I usually do 2 hours, but I'm feeling a little bit feisty. Then I want to finish these damn cultists. So, you know, I'm thinking about doing 3 hours. Yeah, once I finish all them up, finish all the details, then I gotta go back over the bases, cover up all my small mistakes, and then I'm gonna base them. It's funny you say that, Old Man Nixon. I don't know if you've ever heard my, so, at my table I do, like, a few home rules. Nothing too crazy, but it's just, it mixes a little bit of historic without getting too, like, bolt counter nuts. But one of the ones I like in order to encourage Piat use, or to make Piats not basically be like a shittier bazooka, I embrace the cold launch system of the Piat, which means, like, bazookas, Panzerschreck, Panzerfaust, and shit like that, they can't be used inside of buildings. Real world, if you try to use one inside of an enclosed room, you're gonna kill you and whoever's in the room with you. I mean, that's just how recoilless rifles and rocket launchers and shit like that work. The Piat is actually like a cold launch system. It has no it's almost like a like a slingshot, almost like a Fat Man from like Fallout, you know? It's like a shoulder launch catapult. So the cool thing is, you can use it inside buildings. So I try and do that to balance out the Piat versus bazooka, especially in Conflict 47. It lets you kind of take either or. So kind of gives you a benefit to using a Piat. Like, if you want to be, you know, fighting from cover and be like a really good urban force, you know, then the Piat is more advantageous. Versus if you're going to be moving across open country, you know it's better to take the bazooka. Yeah, I'm already starting to see some YouTube videos where it's like building a overpowered, you know, American list or British list for version 3. I was like, Jesus. I was like, I don't even think the book's out yet, but it's alright. It's just me joking around about the competitive scene. Nothing wrong with that. People have fun with it, and I wish them all the best. It just cracks me up that I'm already starting to see those videos. Yes, actually. Old Man Nixon, yeah, these are a kit bash of Wargame Atlantic Afghan warriors with bits of Frostgrave bits, and also Wargame Atlantic Great War French weapons and additional bits. Just like the you'll see the sergeants have a fez instead of a red turban. These are to simulate the mummy and the Mummy Returns, the Cult of Imhotep. Hey, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. I'm guessing Bolt ended his stream. I got off work and took a quick nap, so I didn't get to see him finish the stream. He is working hard on that night, though. It looks good. Yeah, as soon as I get that version 3 book at hand, I'm gonna be right back on the grind, building more Japanese. From what I understand, with the lower tank costs, or the and the higher ability of taking armored platoons and more vehicles, probably gonna lean towards a lot of Hagos and Chihas myself. Hey, Paint Games, what's going on, buddy? Welcome to the stream, man. Still working on these cultists. I know, I've been working on these guys forever. They are surprisingly labor intensive. They were a hell of a lot easier to kit bash than they were to paint. Who knew 10 guys would take so long? All my other models are usually a lot faster to paint because I spray primer the color of their main uniform, so it makes it a hell of a lot easier. But these guys These guys take a little bit longer. Yeah, so that's the cool thing. The in Conflict 47, the Turks actually end up siding with the Germans because everybody wants the Turks on their side because USSR goes on its own side, and the way Turkey is set up, they can actually block the USSR's access to the Mediterranean and the Middle East, maritime speaking, and so everyone's trying to court Turkey, and then Turkey just keeps asking like, all right, well, who's going to give me Rift Tech? The Allies won't do it, and Russia won't do it, so the Germans like, hey, we'll give you Rift Tech. So Turkey's like, well, shit, alright, I guess we're going with the Axis. So it's actually super cool. I was like, that's pretty neat. It's fun seeing who sides with who. Just like the Chinese are getting real mad at how the Americans are trying to run the campaign to keep the Japanese out of China. The Soviets are like, hey, we'll be your protector, we'll be your buddy. And so China's about to have a little communist revolution. Pretty interesting in the lore. +30 hours on one model. Alright. Fair enough. I shall stop complaining about these cultists. I don't think I spent 30 hours on all 10 of these dudes combined, so very well, you have me beat. I had never spent 30+ hours on one model. Even back in the day when on my Squadron Commander Valkyrie, because back in the day when you had Death from the Sky rules, you could have one flyer that was denoted as like your wing leader, squadron leader. You know, they had special rules. So I painted that Valkyrie inside and out, every detail, and even then it wasn't 30 hours. So that's impressive, painting games. You're more dedicated than I am, certainly. Starting to look complete, Jesus. Yeah, Nick's on the same way, man. Tabletop ready. 3 feet pretty. They have a uniform color. I make sure their weapons, all their gear is painted. But yeah, guys, getting ready for the tabletop. I just feel it's super important. Like, I understand if you're learning the game, I have no problem with gray models, you know, for casual games. But especially with bolt action, because the terrain is so dense and beautiful and awesome, I really do feel it's the terrain that really makes bolt action of Conflict 47. The rules are great, the dice bag mechanic, you know, a lot of the rules are cool, but it's the terrain that just makes it chef's kiss, right? So because it's so terrain heavy, that I feel you really need to show up with painted models for bolt action. I think other games you can kind of get away with it. You know, casually you can do whatever you want. Casual game's a casual game's a casual game. But if you're meeting up with someone and you're playing at a place like a legit, like if it's more than just a social meetup, you know, like if you know someone's gonna be taking a lot of pictures or video or something like that, the terrain is gonna be great. So yeah, you definitely need to have painted models, in my humble opinion, for whatever it matters. My God, oh, okay. You guys are serious about your models, which good on you. There's a lot of different ways to enjoy the hobby, and that is apparently one of them, so good on you guys. It brings you happiness. That's awesome. A lot of people think I was crazy when I built and painted those, what did the final count end up being? Like 43 Japanese riflemen in a week. Built and painted. A lot of people think that was crazy. That was fun. It burned me out on painting for a little bit, but it was fun. Sometimes it's quality, sometimes it's quantity. yeah, painting them real fast and real loose, because I'm just going to go back over in the black and red and fix up all the mistakes. So it's not really a big deal. I still got to finish the skin tone on all these guys. I got to finish the hilts on the knives and swords, which will be in brass, make it fast and easy. For their shoes, I think I'm mostly going to do them like black, I guess. I don't know. So let me ask you, playing games as a Tyranid player, how do you feel about what you see is what you get, or WYSIWYG? You know, physically representing, you know, whatever weapon profile that the character has on them. I feel like when you play Imperial Guard or bolt action, it's kind of easier to say. Like a good example, this guy's an NCO, he's a different hat, you know, there's his submachine gun on his back, and he has ammo pouches, you know, that was custom put on there. And then you have this guy over here, it's like, hey, he's a light machine gun. There's his, you know, backup ammo pouch. There's his legitimate, you know, MG42 machine gun. I was like, okay, where's his ammo bearer? Where's assistant gunner? You know, here's an assistant gunner with another ammo box, spare barrel bag. You know, and there's him with the tripod. So like I said, I'm a huge WYSIWYG guy, you know, when you can. But I imagine with Tyranids, it's kind of different because it just looks like amorphous, like limbs and blobs and all sorts of stuff. It's kind of hard to be WYSIWYG, I would assume. Yeah, these flip-flops are no fun. These sandals, I'm just going to kind of paint his feet and go back over the actual flip-flop itself. I reminded of like the GLA quote where it's like, please, may we have some shoes? Slowly but surely, these models are coming together. I said I'm always happy with how the mummies turned out. These are some of my favorite. These guys crack me up. And these were super easy. I get these. I have them over there. I'll grab them later. But you're familiar with Reaper miniatures? If you go to like your local friendly gaming store that does D&D, and they just have like walls of cheap figurines up there. It's like Bones and Reaper and all that kind of stuff. Well, one of them is just 3 mummies to like a blister pack, and it's usually like $6, $7 or something like that. So yeah, I just bought those guys in groups of 3. Just slowly kept adding to them. Yeah, no, I'm with you, old man Nixon. Even if where's a good example? Even if you have to put multiple weapons on one person, like a good example is I have Japanese officers. They can, with officers, and bolt action, for those of you guys who don't know, you can run pistols, it's whatever the unit is modeled with, you know? So for my Japanese officers, they're wielding a katana because officers had katanas. But, you know, I like to run my officers with a submachine gun. So I literally will get a submachine gun and put it on their back, you know, kind of like it's slung on their back and they're pulling out a katana. So that way he still looks like an officer, and if I want to, I can run him with a katana, which I never really would. I'm just going to keep running him with an SMG. You know, because at least in 2nd edition, I don't know how 3rd edition is, but in 2nd edition, there's no points difference between what you run your officers with. It could be rifle, submachine gun, pistol, katana, you know, what have you. So I will model all the options on my guy, and I'll say what he's running with, you know. Same thing, you'll see where it's like, hey, the unit, you know, this unit can take, for 5 points, can take a you know, a Panzerfaust, a little disposable anti-tank thing. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll actually put one on one guy. That way, when I point to, like, which guy has it, I'm like, yeah, it's the guy with the Panzerfaust, you know, it's this dude right here. Because if you just say, like, yeah, one of my riflemen has it, you know, you're like, no, it has to be this guy, so he's in range. In 2nd edition, no, the katana has no points. Even though historically NCOs were issued factory-made katanas called gaishintos, they don't have the option of taking one in the game. Only officers do, and I think it's because officers were technically legitimately trained to use katanas. So it's just one of the options you can take as your officer when it says, you know, it has weapon as modeled. One of them is a sword. If he has a sword, he has the tough fighter special rule, I want to say. Painting games. So that's true. I actually don't have a 3D printer, but it's one of those things where if you're gonna run a bolt action army, there's enough boxes out there. So the difference is you got to think outside of Games Workshop. Models and bolt action are a lot more affordable, and even off-brand. Like I said, these guys aren't even Warlord Games. These are Wargame Atlantic, which is a lot cheaper, even than Warlord Games, which is cheaper than Games Workshop. So it's one of those things where you shouldn't run the model unless you have the weapon for that model. And there's a lot of different ways out there to get bits for pretty cheap. I shouldn't use the word cheap, I'm sorry. Much more like affordable in comparison to other war games. So like I said, I use everything from Etsy. I use Anvil Industries. I put an order there myself yesterday. Yeah, it's the best things. You can't copyright World War II. And Warlord Games has always been super chill about that. Even Conflict 47, I've never seen them issue any kind of rule about using custom Conflict 47 models. Like, Conflict 47 models are more expensive than bolt action models, and they're kind of rare to find. So a good example, if you can't find actual Schreckwolfen, which are werewolves for the Germans, Wargame Atlantic just dropped a box of 20 werewolves for like $30 US. You're like, okay. I have a box coming in recently. So, you know, I've never seen Warlord Games, you know, feel anyway. I have a guy who wants to run the automatons for the British. Instead of using the automaton models from Conflict 47 that used to be Clockwork Goblins models, he wants to do Daleks from Doctor Who. Malifaux models can be expensive. I used a lot of Malifaux models when I played Fallout Wasteland Warfare because they were better with the 32mm scale. Even those models can be expensive, but games like that aren't really WYSIWYG as much. So with bolt action, it's extremely important because certain weapons have certain ranges. And it's like, in 40k, it's like playing guard versus guard. You can actually see what the weapons are. Like a good example, yeah, I'm gonna grab my machine gunner. Where I'm like, hey, this rifleman squad, or this squad of troops has a machine gun. And it's like, well, which one's a machine gun? And you're like, this guy right here with the long-ass machine gun. It's important because machine gun will have a different range than, let's say, a rifleman will. So if I'm like, hey, the unit's shooting you, it's shooting you with its light machine gun, You're like, what's the range of it? And you're like, well, you know, you measure from the actual guy with the machine gun, and we're not getting confused. I said the best example for WYSIWYG, especially for the Germans, is Panzerfaust. When you put a Panzerfaust in a unit, you lose the model with the Panzerfaust, or if this model isn't in range of the tank, you can't just say like, oh yeah, it's any rifleman has the Panzerfaust. No, it's not like a magical bag of holding that passes along. It's the guy with the Panzerfaust, you know. The minis are great. I did a lot of Fallout Wasteland Warfare, especially the narrative side. There's a lot of bookkeeping, and this was before the TV shows, before it got super popular. And they kind of cut my knees off when they jumped to 2D20. I've done Fallout 2D22, but I feel like they really cut the knees out of Wasteland Warfare when they did that. And now they dropped their own version of Necromunda, which is Nuka-Cola, or Nuka World. It's literally Necromunda with Fallout flavoring, which isn't bad. It's got a good narrative build too, where you can kind of build up your characters. I'm a huge Fallout fan. You guys can probably see Fallout videos on my channel. Huge Fallout guy, but it just wasn't popular. I couldn't get people to play. Which is no big deal, you know. People like what they like. That's actually where I have a lot of my terrain from. So I definitely get a lot of terrain from TT Combat, if you guys are familiar with that website. And I got a lot of their stuff that I used in my Fallout game. Hopefully I'm looking to double purpose a lot of that with bolt action. It's a lot of terrain I have. That and the other tabletop war game I collect but I don't get to play is Carnivale. I love Carnivale, but nobody plays here in the States. So I was stationed, or what I call overseas. I'm a Yank, right? So I was stationed in, we'll call it Europa for fun. I was stationed in Europa for a while, and one of my favorite cities that I actually ended up living very close to it was Venice. I absolutely fell in love with the city of Venice, and I would go there every chance I got when I was still a young, single, enlisted man. Even when I had a wife, I still convinced her to like come down to Venice all the time. I absolutely love Venice. Love the history, love the feeling of it, love everything about that city. So when I saw Carnivale as a tabletop game, I was like, yeah, shut up and take my money. And if you guys are looking for super unique models for Old World or Warhammer 40k, depending if you're running like Black Templar, go take a look at TT Combat's Carnivale range. A lot of really cool models there. I'm talking like really cool looking models. Not crazy expensive, but not cheap either. If you want to run like an Inquisitor or something like that, you can find some really cool like henchman options and stuff in there. No, I haven't seen anyone launching a Panzerfaust from a snowmobile. Sounds pretty Finnish to me, but I haven't seen that. Yeah, that actually does sound like it'd be tough to do, kind of annoying. But good on you for going to that far into the detail. So, same thing with the whole WYSIWYG. Sometimes I do take liberties, and I'll let people know too because they have questions. Like a good example, I always tell the story, but as someone who served as a machine gunner, you know, early on in my career, it's always a good idea to have your machine gunner be dual armed, you know, with a pistol, in case something happened to the machine gun, in case they were moving from spot to spot or something like that. It's always good to have a sidearm. So I always model my machine gunners with pistols. But if anyone asks, like, oh, does he also have a pistol? You know, because pistols give you not special abilities, but it gives you an advantage in bolt action. You can assault and you can, you know, swing twice, all that kind of fun stuff. But I'm like, no, that's just there for. I always point that out, like, that's just there for my own modeling fun, you know. Just like a lot of these guys have knives and stuff like that, they don't have sword rules or anything like that. They're just cultists, like, give them swords and blades, because, you know, rule of cool. Just didn't want to seem hypocritical talking about like WYSIWYG and I add on extra stuff. You know, I'm always having to point out, I'm like, no, those aren't, you know, those are just there for looks. You know, I'm not crazy too. Like a good example, I played someone the other day who brought a that's well they should, yeah. Someone brought a Panzer IV and they didn't pay for the side skirt armor, but their model still had the side skirt. I wasn't about to make them pop off their side skirts, you know. But I'm like, oh yeah, no worries, man. Just remind me that they don't have their side skirts. Yeah, that's what a pistol's useful for. I just kind of model mine for it, you know, just kind of for fun. It makes sense given your snipers, SMG, or pistols like that, especially if you're trying to take like an objective at the last minute. You know, with the Japanese having fanatical, I really should try that more often. So the 1250 Conflict 47 list for this army, it has 2 squads of cultists, you know, 10-man squads. There's regular Wehrmacht troops or nothing special, but they do get 2 light machine guns per squad, paying the points for that, and I think 2 Panzerfausts. So they're pretty hard hitting. It'll have a veteran second lieutenant and adjutant with assault rifles. It'll have an air observer veteran with a veteran adjutant. Even though the rules aren't that good for second edition, I love air observers. I think it's a fun game mechanic, so I always bring them. Plus, in the Mummy movies, they had that plane or the dirigible in the second one, so I thought it'd be kind of a fun nod. It'll ultimately end up with 21 mummies, a unit of 21 Toten Corps, in which case I use mummies. And then I'm taking 2 squads of 6 Schreckwolfen. Mine will be kitted out to look like a Nujabes Warriors. 1 Panzer X. You guys have seen that on the stream before. And then 1 flamethrower team. So it's all about hoofing it on foot. You know, not a lot of vehicles, not a lot of artillery, no mortars. Just a straight up direct warfare. Kind of like cultists would be. I don't really imagine these guys using a lot of mortars and stuff like that. Yeah, Conflict 47, because so many horde units, whether it be Schreckwolfen, Ursus Infantry, which are like werebears, Nachtjägers, Toten Corps, I mean, no matter what it is, a lot of them are all melee focused. So that's when either SMGs, shotguns, pistols, all that stuff becomes real handy in Conflict 47. It's not just a stand and shooting game. If they close with those horror units, they will, because they have the tooth and claw special rule, they will rip you to shreds. That's why like a lot of your heavy infantry will also come with like knives and stuff like that. It'll denote that. It'll say like tough fighter. It'll say tough and tough fighter. And their models will have like blades on their arms and stuff like that, like on their gauntlets. Surprised my dog's hair on that. He's shit everywhere. Bastard has white and red fur. Oh, it's a pain. I'm not looking forward to doing another 10 of these guys. I gotta build the other squad. Just because of the way their uniform and gear is laid out, these guys are actually just a little bit more painting. I'd say painting intensive. I mean, I know you're working on like a 30-hour Carnifax or whatever Tyranid bug. Sorry, I don't know other names. You'll have to forgive me. But this is nowhere near that level, but it's still a lot for these guys. But I have a good feeling for 3rd edition. I feel when it finally fully drops everywhere for everybody, I think it's gonna be pretty popular. Sorry about that. Put my light there for a second. It's hard to tell how much hype there is for it because I read a lot, and I like to think I'm quote-unquote somewhat active in like the Warlord Games community for Bolt Action and Conflict 47. So to me, it's everywhere, but obviously I'm in that bubble, so I don't know what it seems like to a casual outsider. I feel like the drop might be as successful or as big as like X-Wing, but I don't know. It could just be me, projecting my hopes. And like I'm literally, balls deep in that industry, not industry, but I'm balls deep in that community. So to me, it's everywhere. So super biased. So is that the standard for Warhammer 40k now? 2,000 point armies. They do 2,000 point armies on those tiny boards because it's not 6x4 anymore. You know, so it's 2,000 points on a tiny board with just L-shaped terrain. Oh my god. Oh, no, Conflict 47 is still in its first edition. No. Bolt Action, the World War II game, is getting a third edition. Conflict 47 is a derivative of Bolt Action. It's like a Weird War spin-off or expansion. Conflict 47 is still in its first edition. And I'm okay with that. I'm in no rush. I know everybody else is. I'm in no rush for a second edition. I'm perfectly happy. I'm content. I don't think enough people really play Conflict 47 for them to warrant, like, rushing to put out a second edition. It's not that big of a deal. Oh yeah, no, I have them. Which is a little weird. I'm not so yeah, I've heard about that. I'm not sure. I feel like that's a pretty far range for a light mortar, but it kind of makes sense with, you know, them saying grenade launchers are 24. Luckily the Japanese can take a shit ton of light mortars, which is pretty nice. And I read they boosted the smoke rules, which is always important. A lot of people freak out when they find out that light mortars can actually drop a 3-inch smoke tiplet. That always shits people's brains when they read that, at least in second edition. So smoke isn't always accurate, but if you have three light mortars and an infantry squad, when you're moving up, you can drop some serious smoke, and one of those smokes is likely going to go off. So it allows you, people who want to sit in the back with their big heavy, with the points change, I expect to see a lot more tigers and panthers, a lot more kitty cats. So you can actually pop down some smoke screens, and kind of limit their range and move up on those vehicles in infantry. Yeah, I'm excited to see new tactics emerge. I have a fairly decent sized Imperial Japanese army with a lot of different models. Just like I hear, light machine guns are making a comeback, particularly for the Japanese. For the Japanese, it was a crazy bad idea to take light machine guns. They were insanely expensive. I feel like the nerf to vehicle machine guns changed a lot. Like, I used to run machine guns on trucks a lot for fast attack vehicles. That's true. Yeah, you are lucky, but if you're popping off 3 each turn, your chance of getting that 6 is pretty damn good. I say pretty damn good. It's actually, there's a statistic to it, but it's not bad. And it can stick around. Not bad. What it's saying is if your mortars are out of range, you don't have to be out of options. And that's what I tell a lot of people. If you have to choose between HE or smoke, I'm probably going to drop HE on somebody, But if you're past that 36, if you're out of range of my HE, you're definitely out of range of my rifles, so I can at least use those 3 mortars for something useful. Oh, nice. I have some half tracks I need to build, so I'm pretty excited about that. I imagine there'll be some rule changes here and there once a couple of games get played. Give it a couple opens and tournaments and stuff like that, and when they issue out the army outbooks, I'm sure there'll be like a little bit of a change here and there, which I'm okay with. You're never going to get everything perfectly right, so I'm okay with the playtesting and figuring stuff out. Only because, and it's not shit on 40k Day, I promise, but the cool thing about it being a World War II game is World War II units really don't get, like, banished out of existence or legend, like a panther is a panther is a panther is a panther. So it's not like there's no panthers in 3rd edition. That's not going to be a thing. You have a panther, you have a panther. Yeah, I'm excited they made half tracks cheaper. So that's one of the many things I tell people with the starter armies. whether you're looking at Island Assaults or Band of Brothers, is a lot of times different armies stole people's vehicles all the time. Like Jeep, trucks, cars, and half tracks got stolen all the time. So if you get one of those sets, like let's say you get Band of Brothers, but you only want to play American Airborne, you don't want to collect Germans, that's perfectly fine, you know? You can use that German Hanomag and just paint it OD green, you know, put a decal or just kind of hand paint a white star on it, and just say it's a captured half track, and you can use it as it counts as M3 half track. Just make sure if you put machine guns on it that the firing arcs for that are the same ones that are represented on the M3 rules. You know, you can't have the rules of a Hanomag and claim it's an M3. You know, that's kind of shady. But as long as the firing arcs and all the other stuff is the same, and it just looks like a Hanomag that's painted green, very common historically. People stole shit all the time. So them saying house tracks are more popular due to the cost, I would hope to see some more conversions like that. Like that's where I got my Ho-Has from my Japanese. It's an expensive model to find, and it's kind of rare, so I just took the M3 half tracks that came with the Marine Corps. The Imperial Japanese Army historically didn't use a lot of captured enemy weapons and vehicles, but the Imperial Japanese Navy and the Special Naval Landing Force, they absolutely did. Yeah, they take anything that's not bolted down, they didn't give a shit. Because all the naval funding went towards the ships, and, you know, carrier aircraft and carriers and battleships are expensive as hell. So the Imperial Navy Special Naval Landing Force, they used anything they could find. They knew they were going to get shit funding. Yeah, so he has two books. One is the Book of the Dead and the Book of Amun Ra. So I gotta paint one, you know, one gold, one black. So pretty excited for that. Fun nod to the movies. If you've never seen them, I highly recommend them. The Mummy movies are absolutely awesome. The first two, the third one's kind of meh. It's good. It just sucks they replaced that one actress. But the first two are phenomenal. I just hope the hype doesn't go away, you know, after a couple months. After, you know, it's no longer new hotness and it's just like another tabletop game, you know, role being out there. I hope it's still just as fun, just as popular. I feel like it will be, but nice painting games. Are you painting for yourself, or are you doing it as a commission for somebody? Oh, the pistol grip, unpainted on the stick before. I wasn't sure if it's wooden or not. I'm pretty sure it's wooden. Yeah, it's wooden. I had to close my eyes and think about it for a second. Yeah, it's totally wooden. Alright, next up is going to be brass for the sword hilts and for the dagger hilts. That I can go in and, were they bakelite? You know, a lot of the Soviet shit that's on was bakelite, like some of the older stuff. Oh, maybe. Fun story about bakelite. As you know, bakelite is the material that gave a massive rise to counterfeit paintings, which is super interesting because, you know, there's a lot of, how do I say this? A lot of art redistribution, you know, both during and after World War II. And so because there's such a wild shifting of art changing hands, legally and illegally, of course, and morally and immorally, it gave rise to a lot of lost art, you know, being recovered and found. So a lot of art forgers, that was the prime time to forge paintings, you know, because who knows what could turn up during and after the war, right? So they needed something. They needed something that would help dry with the pigments they created to match kind of the historical painting. And this is before they started doing a lot of other testing. So they needed a type of medium that would go into the paint pigment, but would dry when they kind of like try to age it in an oven and stuff like that. And it turns out bakelite, of all things, was like the thing to use to help forge your painting pigments and to help create good forgery paintings at the time. Which is funny now, because now we know during World War II, during the testing and using of atomic weaponry, that created a whole new type of compound in the atmosphere that revolutionized steel creation and other items as well. So now it's a very easy way to authenticate paintings or wine bottles or any other type of art, is to get into the molecular of it and see if the original creations, the original pigments of that painting, see if it had any of the radiation. Because anything you create now will have that trace amounts of radiation in it. I think is it chromium? I think it's cesium. Yeah, I think it's one of the cesiums. I know a little bit about it. Obviously not a lot, you know? Just like a layman's approach to it. Super interesting. Sorry, we said bakelite grips took me on a whole huge thing. Bakelite always makes me think of shitty AK-74 mags. And even shittier, cheaper AK bayonets. I like my AK bayonets with wood, you know, but that's just me. Yeah, anyone's ever been issued a modern Western M9 bayonet knows they're pretty shit. They're not full tang. So when I deployed, I ended up leaving my M9 at home so I could immediately turn it in as soon as I came back. 'Cause they're expensive as shit too. So you get issued one, you know, and you can't lose it, so you always got to turn it back in. So I didn't even take mine with me when I went in country. I I bought it like an Ontario M7, and then when I was there, I traded that M7 to a Polish MP. I traded him for his AK-47 bayonet. Carried that bayonet for the whole rest of my career. I think it was amazingly useful. Probably one of the best knives I've ever had. I don't even think it's Polish. Looking at, I mean, I haven't tracked down the numbers on the bayonet. I'm pretty sure it's Romanian. If I was a betting man, but I don't know that much about it. Just know it's a damn good bayonet. Hey, what's going on, Baron? How you doing? We're just working on finishing up our cultist right now. Oh man. Missed the guy. Right now I'm working on their the hilts of their swords and stuff. Speaking of knives, the name of these little daggers escaped me. I have one up in my study. It's a gift. It's called like a Chibia. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's a ceremonial customary little dagger you wear in your sash here. Little curved blade. Half-assed history with Tiki. There you go. I'm hoping to, I don't think I'll get around to finishing, especially not the basing. I'm hoping to at least get everything painted and to touch up all my multiple, many mistakes I made on this guys. Just trying to get them painted for the table. So we'll see. Hoping tomorrow I'll go ahead and build a new model so we got something new to paint on the stream for tomorrow's stream. Maybe a tank. Always fun to paint a tank. Could always use more tanks. Yeah, I left a lot of blank spaces with that tan Dari Dust undercoating, you know, because I don't want to like paint over stuff. I want to get all the details. I can just go back and paint, you know, the parts that I missed with the red, and that should cover it down. Be nice and easy. Not sure what else uses for brass. I've always had good results with, at least from far away, like 3 feet away. Balthazar Gold is actually my preferred like brass, especially for like ammo and stuff like that. If you have like linked ammo going into a machine gun or something like that, I always feel like that looks the best, at least from far, far away. Balthazar's Gold. Yeah, I don't use a lot of the prone sculpts or prone models when it comes to bolt action. It's kind of more like when you're playing a big, heavy, infantry heavy army, prone models can kind of be the pain. Like they're good for snipers or like forward observers or even machine gunners who are feeling saucy enough. If I have embedded machine gunners in a unit, I just use them as crouched. And you notice like the only 2 guys who are crouched in this unit are the machine gunner and his AG. Just allows me to kind of recognize them at a quicker speed. After I finish all these brass hilts, I think I'm gonna go back and do the hair and beards. And from there, it'll just be a cleanup, model by model. Depending on what I missed or what they need. Yeah, tanks are easier. My camo pattern's pretty easy to emulate, so it doesn't take me too long to do my camo pattern. It's not too unique. Oh, actually, speaking of which, I found a really cool new camo scheme I want to try. I saw a kind of a cool way to do it. Somebody took kind kind of like sticky tack, right? So they take sticky tack and they kind of push it down and they put it all over the unit. And what they do is they go in and they paint the cracks in between the sticky tack of the unit. So when you put all the sticky tack on, it kind of looks like pebbles all over the unit. So when you go back and peel it off, it kind of gives almost like a lightning appearance, kind of like how you do like the blue lightning on a Night Lord, like Storm Talon, if that makes sense. Not Storm Talon, whatever the hell they're called. Like that special lightning paint job they have. That's kind of what it looks like. It's kind of cool. My paint scheme for my Imperial Japanese Army is super easy, super unique. Somewhat historical. There was a Japanese Zero that had it. I've talked about before. If you haven't seen it, I just use blue painter's tape, and I cut and I tear pieces, and I make sure it's not a straight line. Make sure it's jagged, and I put it all over the model. And then I take minor Zendari dust as a base coat, and then I take wall flesh. Wall flesh as a base, and I outline on both sides of the blue tape. So then I pull up the blue's painter tape. It gives me kind of like guidelines, and I go through and make them to whatever thickness I want. So it ends up being a mostly tan vehicle with very thin green, not even tiger stripes. They look more like vines. It's kind of like a vineyard camo. Cool for jungle / beach operations, Mediterranean style operations. I don't know. It looks like it's useful for a lot of different stuff. And I don't see it very often, so it's kind of cool to have like a unique camo scheme. That's something where before I even started, Battlefield Gothic back in 07, something I always told myself, because, getting into it, being a young kid and having to like save to get my first model. Actually, my first models were a gift. A Battlefield Gothic starter set. Something I wanted to get more stuff like brushes and paint and things like that. I perused Daka on the daily way back in the days. And again, this is back in like 05, 06, 07, So like listening to music on Windows Media Player and checking Daka, looking at bat reps and army profiles. So something I always told myself is I want my paint scheme to be unique and not good, because I know I probably would never be good. I have a brother who's very artistic, and I know it kind of skips. So I knew I wasn't going to get the artistic bug or the artistic skill. But I wanted my paint scheme to be unique enough where if I see a picture of it, or if someone takes a picture, I'm like, hey, that's my model. Hey, that's my kind of paint scheme. Be it the ammo scheme, the paint style, the kit bashing, or anything like that. Like, these models don't exist. These models are what are kit bash. They come from like 3 or 4 different boxes. Anyone can replicate them, but these models aren't off the shelf. And I kind of like that. I kind of like the individuality of it. Maybe it's like my tabletop hipster soul, I guess. I don't know. That's why I always tell people, I encourage, custom paint styles. Do what you think is cool, and I always tell people, always kit bash your models, because it helps like tell a story for that model, If you can. Some people like, following the Codex Astartes exactly how it is, and I get that, but I always encourage kit bashing. Alright, that's all the weapon hilts. Now it's just going model by model and kind of finishing them up. So with that being said, to do something new, I kind of want to work on my basing if I can find my right brush for it. So, alright, I'm back, so I had to dig around and find this brush. So the story behind this brush is I had a really cool local GW store manager. He wasn't a big Warhammer 40k fan, but he's a super nice guy and a good salesman. So the first times I met him, I thought he took me for a ride. You know, I thought he sold me some shit I didn't need. Because he saw my models and he told me I need to base my models. And I'm like, yeah, okay, you know, I probably should. So the next day I showed up and I just kind of based them all brown, like plain coat brown. He's like, okay, but let me sell you something that'll make you, you know, make it a little easier and fun. He sold me my first technical paint. It wasn't this one. It was Stirland Battlemire, I want to say, which I still use to this day. And then he sold me this brush. Let me know in the comments if you guys have ever seen one of these before. They're pretty common. Oh, let me make sure I get it in view of the camera. So it is a texture brush from Citadel, right? Still got the barcode on it. And I thought, you know, what a stupid thing. Why in the world would I buy this? This is stupid. You know, I'm not gonna need it. And he's like, tell you what. He's like, buy it, go home and use it. It's like, if you don't like it, if you promise me you used it, you bring it back and it has the Stirland Battlemire on it and you didn't like it, he's like, I'll take you out to lunch. Because there was a honey baked ham right across the street that he always ate lunch at. He's like, I'll take you over there and I'll buy you a sandwich. Ironically, I think the brush is still more expensive than the sandwich. But I love this texture brush so much. I have used the absolute shit out of this thing. If you use texture paint, if you use, you know, any of the Stirland Battlemire or mud or anything like that, I recommend investing in one of these. If they still sell them, I could be showing you like a fucking relic from some King Tut's tomb that doesn't get sold anymore. This thing is legit. Highly recommend it. Alright, enough of me shilling for products that I don't even make a commission on. Like I said, I don't sell anything, so when I tell you these things, these are just my opinion for, you know, for what it's worth. Alright, so before I go back and work on these guys, because even I'm getting a little tired of working on this cultist, let's bring the mummies out. Let's try and base these nerds. So yeah, I've heard people use palette knives and all sorts of kind of stuff. It's funny, I mostly use super glue. I don't use like plastic glue or GW glue. I use just straight up super glue for all my models. I know, probably not the best thing, but I don't really care. Easy to fix when something breaks, and it holds pretty well. But the clean off excess super glue, one of the best tools I found, ironically, is a, I think I have it over here. One of my other ghetto hobbying tools is a Starbucks stir. A Starbucks stir is one of the best ways to clean off excess glue. I absolutely use this thing a lot, and I love it. If I need to spread glue somewhere or clean off excess glue, I use a Starbucks coffee stir, like lid plugger. Don't ask me why. For anything else, even if you don't have it, if you don't want to get a texture brush, I've used this before. When I couldn't find my texture brush, I used the Starbucks stir. It's just as good. So next time you're at Starbucks, you can use that to justify you getting a massively overpriced cup of coffee. Or a cup of tea, depending on where you are in the world. But yeah, if you guys have any painting and hobbying tips, keep it chill, keep it polite, keep it friendly. No need to be a painting snob or anything like that. But if you have some like clever DIY painting tips that make you feel clever, feel free to drop it down in the chat. I'd love to see / hear it. These aren't even the right bases for bolt action. These are Warhammer 40k bases because you can tell they have like that little bit of a stand. Doesn't really make that big of a difference. If anything, it's going to hurt the unit because you'll be able to see him out of cover, and that's more of an important thing in bolt action. But again, this is mostly just for demo games with Comic 47, so I'm not that worried. You're not missing much by not having a Starbucks. Coffee I recommend, but... Well, I mean, it's just... I say I recommend coffee. It's just like anything else, like tobacco, nicotine, caffeine, alcohol. Like, do what your body can handle and do what's legal. And always keep... No one knows your health better than you and a doctor, so don't listen to random tips from some a-hole on the internet. Oh, I love this brush so much. Yeah, that guy was a 1 in a million. Awesome GW store manager. From what I hear, from like Northern Exile and channels like that, you don't find them very often. Yeah, I think that's going to give me kind of a cool sandy appearance without having to worry about getting sand and then microwaving it and make sure there's no bacteria and then putting it on and then, hitting it with a sealant. And, oh god, it's like 50 extra steps. Yeah, I'd much rather pay like the extra $2 for the technical paint. I'm to the point now where I work so much overtime. That time is its own currency to me sometimes. Like, I don't mind... This is me in my own situation. I don't mind paying the extra $1 or $2, to save a little bit extra time. But everybody's different. I get it. Also, I'm annoyed about basing. Basing annoys me. Some people get super strict about basing. Oh yeah, this is gonna turn out cool. All right, I'm pleasantly happy. I think this will be all right. Yeah, you're not missing much. So there's a whole interesting history behind Starbucks. It's all right. It can be expensive, depending on what kind of drinks you get. It can be extraordinarily expensive to get Starbucks coffee. Because of my job, because of the cultures I've been in, the jobs I've had, I drink a lot of coffee myself. But you know, I've learned to make coffee. You know, I make coffee myself. It's a lot more affordable that way. I'm not bougie when it comes to coffee. I just really enjoy coffee. That's one of the funny things. I learned more and more about coffee from my travels. Like, I thought I learned a lot more about wine. Being in Italy for like 3 to 4 years, I learned a good amount about wine, but I learned a shit ton about coffee. I had a Carbonari counterpart who took his coffee seriously. Oh man. Taught me everything I knew about making espresso though. Just like I was hoping, that this stuff's kind of clumpy, so I was worried a lot about the shoes for these cultists, because some have like moccasins, some have boots, some have like flip-flops or like thongs, so this is going to help a lot, because this sand's going to kind of like cover up a lot of it, you know? So, that'll work. Almost feels more like working with like spackle or something. But huge fan. Alright, there's our first zombie with basing. Looks a little wet now, but that's okay. Pretty sure it'll dry. Looks sandy enough for me. Worst case, I can actually just dry brush some Zendari dust on it, you know? Call it a day. I think I probably will do that. Once it dries like that a little bit, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Because I think I'll actually just dry brush some Zendari dust on them. There you go, camera. Do your job, autofocus. So yeah, again, that's what we're using. This is, how do you even say that? Badlands. had another one, but it had a different kind of typical paint, but all dried up and clumped on me. Oh yeah, I had this Armageddon dust, but it was completely dry. Look at that. This one just completely dried on me. But as you can tell, it's a much older bottle, you know? Oh, okay, I kind of like this more, like super flat like this. I think it'll dry a little bit more crackly, so I need to go back and redo that one. So for the mud, it looks good to clump it up like that, but I think for this sandy one, I think we're gonna, you know, kind of push down and flatten it. Give it more almost of that, like, salt flat kind of look. Yeah. Come back and work on this guy real quick. Yeah, there you go. I think it looks a little bit less mud chunky, a little bit more flat deserty. I had never painted eyes on a model paint game. Yeah, forget that trash. No way, not for me. I mean, that's impressive. It's just I know early on I don't have the skill for that, and I don't have the patience to develop that skill. So I'm just like, meh. You just get your face just gets dry brushed with like a skin tone paint. And we'll call it a day. Okay, you know what? I take it back. Here I am lying to you. I did kind of paint the eyes. Here, let me put my hand behind it so focus is better. I did kind of paint the eyes on these mummies. If you can see, I didn't really paint eyes. It kind of just dolloped some purple paint in the eye sockets. So I don't really consider that painting eyes. You know, just kind of made them look it made it pop a little bit, so it's not just like old wraps and decayed bones. It gave something a little bit, it gave like a tertiary color, if that makes sense. You've never used this before. It's kind of fun. It's almost more like sculpting, if that makes sense. It's definitely kind of a fun paint to use. Yeah, I can see what you say that, you know, you worry about the time spent fixing mistakes, but it's still putting paint on the model, and that's still the objective. You know, even if you have to go back and fix your mistakes you made earlier, at least you already have that paint on the model, so you're kind of just painting over it. It's not that big of a deal. It's the trepidation and the not painting. So I'd rather have a mistake on a model than have a gray model, if that makes sense. There we go. Go ahead and keep it in camera focus a little bit better. A little bit more natural for me to hold. Yeah, so when I do the mud for like my actual zombies for like my my Japanese army, I generally just like cake the mud on there, you know, just let it kind of sit like stacked up and fat like that, like mud does, like a swamp. But with this being sandy, I kind of do want to... You'll see me, I'm actually like pushing down on it, trying to flatten this. So I'm hoping it'll dry and give like a cracked appearance. And then I can just dry brush over it. So I'm working on the lore videos. They're taking a little bit longer than expected because I'm kind of planning them out. But I can get a short lore video out hopefully this week. So if you guys want, you can let me know down in the comment section, the live chat of this. Let's say comment section, nerd. In the chat of this live stream. So your choices for lore for this week, Conflict 47 lore. I can either cover Norway, what Norway was up to, or I can cover like I think it's like Denmark, Sweden, and some of those other countries in that area. You guys let me know. Because I've covered all the major theaters from the Divergence up to 1945, so now I have to cover from 1945 all the way to the end of 1947, which is a lot for all the different ones. So I'm trying to cover some of the smaller ones. So Norway has its own, and then there's I'm sorry, I said Denmark. There's more so it's either, yeah. So you can choose either Finland or Denmark. You know which is it Denmark? No, it's Norway and Finland. There we go. It's Norway or Finland, whichever one of those lore you want. Yeah, one is like because there's a whole campaign that happens in Norway in the third book. So Norway is one, and the other one's like what happens with Finland, because Finland kind of bounces back and forth between who they're working with, who they're working against, you know, who's invading them. Nice. That is 2 out of 6 mummies based, and I like the way the base is looking. So there's some without bases, there's some with bases, so you can definitely tell they're based. I'll take it. It's still a little wet for me, but I think I'll be able to dry it out. I think dry brushing is gonna work out real well for it as well. You will have to wait and see when the lore comes out. That's kind of my follow the white rabbit thing, the getting people to watch the lore videos. Which actually, I'm not gonna lie, when I take the time to do those and put them out, they actually do pretty well. There's another channel. He beat me years ago because I've been doing this for a while now. He beat me to it years ago when he put out the lore videos. I think he did a good job. They're a little shorter. So I think he like summarized some of the lore. I'm actually reading it directly from the book. And I go through and I splice in like relevant footage and stuff like that. So my videos take a lot longer to produce, but he has everything out. So you can definitely go to, it's Turnkey History. You can go to his channel and he has all the lore out there. It's just, I said they're kind of short. So I'd have to like sit down with the book and see what he covers and what he doesn't. But from what I watched, it seems pretty nice. Yeah, I think he did a good job. Flat with this stuff because you can really glue this stuff on, but I'm trying to just bare bones this bare bones the mummy. Try to bare bones this in there to kind of really give it that that sandy Sahara kind of desert look. But yeah, like I said, I think tonight I'm going to try and go for 3 hours, and maybe in the future try and go all the way up to 4. I think that'll be my goal, is to be able to stream 4 hours. You know, same day, Saturdays and Sundays, but do 4 hours each one. Lord knows I have the models to paint. I have so many to catch up on. It's always fun to chat with you guys. You know, to see what you're chatting and talk to you back and forth. But it's always good to catch up on models. I always say this, if you have the required technology, which I think honestly is just a phone. If you have a phone and a YouTube account, I highly recommend streaming. It's a good way to catch up on your models. And let me know if you do, because I'll be there. Ah, hola, amigo. Well, you know, tell the Spain. I'm gonna take a guess and say probably a rubia. You know, so tell the rubia de corazon. Tell her I said howdy, and I hope you guys have a good time in Spain, man. Let me know if I was right. You know, Morena, Rubia, you know, 50-50. Take it easy, Nathan. I appreciate you dropping by, brother. Alright, take it easy, painting game. Man, I'll, like I said, I'll probably be here for another hour, so, you know, if you can swing back and check in, that's awesome too. If not, hope you have a great day and hope you stay hydrated, brother. I hope you, relax. Have a good time. Ah, dude, that's awesome to hear, man. I love it. I love it. Wish you guys all the best. But stop paying attention to me and go spend some time with her. I appreciate you checking in, but she is 100% more important than me. Take it easy, brother. Later, buddy. So, a fun fact for those of you still in the chat, I was actually having this conversation with my brother the other day. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. But I was talking to my brother about how St. Augustine's the oldest city in the United States. And not a lot of people know that Florida was actually a Spanish colony, not a British colony. And it was a colony, technically, going all the way back to the American Revolution. A lot of people don't know, you know, it didn't stop at Georgia. They're trying to get Florida to join and be one of the 14 colonies to overthrow monarchy. And Florida's like, nah, we're good. Florida's like, nah, you guys have fun with that shit. And it's not crazy, because if you look at where Florida is on the map, you have to remember the British Royal Navy was the most powerful it's probably been in the whole world at that time throughout history. And they had a what they call a West Indies squadron, you know, a squadron in the Caribbean of ships, of warships. And what land of Spain that British did own, you know, the War of Drunkendeer, British and Spanish land was changing hands. So there were some British settlers in Florida, in what they call British Florida. But those settlers were soldiers, were veterans, people who had served and as part of their pension got a little slice of land. And these aren't like the fancy officers with 8 horses and like duke titles, no. These were like war fighting veterans. So these were like your very cheap officers, or very like non-related officers who didn't have good social connections, or they were, you know, non-commissioned officers who had served their year and pensioned out. So instead of giving them like choice acreage and like farmland in Georgia or the Carolinas, no, they got swampy land in Florida to like shut up and deal with it. This is what you get. So Florida at the time was filled with either Seminole tribe who wanted no part of any of that shit, or they were Spanish, mostly missionaries, who again wanted no part of that shit, or they were British veterans who had fought for 20 years, were experienced, and still wanted no part of that shit. Like, hey, you want to rebel against the crown? They're like, the crown I served for 20 years? No, we're good. And anyone in Florida who did want to side with the colonists reminded them politely, like, yeah, you know, the West Indies squadron, the fleet of warships in the Caribbean, always fighting the French and Spanish. When they come to beat the hell out of the 13 colonies for during an American Revolution, or rebellion, whatever you want to call it, they're gonna hit Florida first if Florida would have joined those 13 colonies. So, you know, you see people like Maine and Massachusetts like, yeah, come join the rebellion. Spain's like, yeah, we're the first ones who's gonna get our shit kicked in with an entire squadron of warships. Like, hard pass. You guys have fun though. Let me know how it works out. So it's a fun story about Florida. You know, originally it was a Spanish colony, not a British one. The first settled city in America wasn't Jamestown, it was St. Augustine. And hilariously enough, they asked them to be the 14th colony for the revolution. They're like, nope. You guys have fun with that. And that was half-sauced and half-assed history with Tiki. Stay tuned for more. Alright, so it's already starting to dry a little bit, and I'm kind of liking the look of it, so it's going to work out pretty well for us. Hey, shells of iron, if it isn't the Bob Ross of miniatures himself, gracing me with his presence. Hopefully I can, by virtual osmosis, not even osmosis, but try and steal some of his painting talent. Yeah, man, working on my cultist, working on basing my mummies right now. Playing around with a little, Citadel technical paint. Yeah, I'm liking it. So unlike the battle mire, which I let kind of clump up for my zombies, so it looks like they're like stomping through like graveyard mush and marsh, you know. This I'm trying to like push down really flat so that when it dries, it kind of gives a crackling effect. And then I think I'm gonna dry brush over it once it's fully dry. So the drying, that's what it's starting to kind of look like. Not bad. I enjoy using this kind of stuff for basing. Kind of a time saver for me, and I think it kind of adds a little, makes it look a little different. So these are 6 mummies. I have another 15 coming in that I'll have to paint. They're fun. Like I said, there are only 3 colors too, so like, oop, well, drop that guy. So their wrapping is 1 color. You can see their bones and skin's another, and then on their face, I kind of gave them these purple eyes, kind of staring into your soul and damnation, that kind of thing. Oh, batch painting is the great. I'm actually taking a break from batch painting right now. Those damn cultists. Those cultists are taking me forever because usually my army, their main uniform is the color that I spray primer them in. Like my Japanese are spray primered in Zari Dusk, so their uniform is tan. But these cultists, they have like red uniforms that are taking me forever to batch paint, and there's only 10 of them. So I'm taking a break from batch painting those guys. All I have left is just fixing the mistakes. Everything's painted. So now I'm just kind of working on the basing, and I want to do the mummies first. Yeah, I'm trying to like really push down on this and kind of scrape too. And then I think once I go over it with a dry brushing of Zendari dust, I think I'll make it kind of pop out again. Oh, thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, here's a Nox and a Moon herself. She got like her red flowing cloak. She's got her ammo pouches in the back, gold bikini, or assault rifle. You know me, I'm a 3 feet pretty kind of guy, so I'm trying to go from looking at least decent 3 feet away on the tabletop. I appreciate you swinging by and checking out, though, man. I've been solely enjoying you working on your night, man. Your reactions to your painting is probably one of the best parts. Even when I can't see the screen, just hearing how you react to your painting is the best part. Like the oh no's were my favorite. You're like, oh no, oh no. Hey, James, what's going on? I'm totally suffering. I bet you're so happy you got that night. It seems like it's brought you nothing but happiness. I'm so glad I could, you know, help be part of the people who harassed you into getting a night. It honestly helps me sleep at night, so. What's going on, James? How you doing, buddy? Yep, just a nice, chill, super chill stream, chat about anything you guys want to talk about, you know, within reason, and basing these mummies. Gotta get them all sandy. The other reason why I love this base is these cultists in particular have the most pain in the ass footwear you've ever seen. Some have sandals, some have moccasins, some have clogs, some have boots. I'm not playing this game of like 8 different colors, and they have darker skin tone, so I can't really paint the stuff leather or wood. It doesn't really match. Oh, it's a pain in the ass. So I'm super happy for the sand and for this technical basing, because it's going to kind of like really not cover up their feet, but kind of like subtract and hide away from a lot of it, make my life a lot easier. hear any random ticking or bubbling in the back, that is my ever loyal machine, my coffee pot. I have drip coffee. Keeps me sane. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, Shells of Iron. It nailed it. Exactly what I'm doing. You know, especially the mummies, because it's kind of like, you know, they're rising out of the sand. So, it works real well for me. Yeah, I liked it. They're easy to paint. They kind of have a cool look to them, I think, as far as the effects. And so that's why I'm like, you know what, for this army, I'm going to go heavy on the mummies, and I have another 15 of them coming in. So... Yep. So yeah, what they are, I don't even build them. They come in these super cheap blister packs. I use minis like this for Dungeons & Dragons. They come like 3 to a blister pack. I think they're out of print though, because they're starting to get harder and harder to find. Like, wherever I go, like, we only have 2 in stock. I was like, ooh, I'll take those. So I got all the way up to 21. It was hard to find a good 28mm mummy, you know, without going like super crazy. And the rules for this infantry squad, you can take up to, I think it's like up to 28 of these guys. It's insane. But for my bigger list, because this is only a 500-point army, so for my bigger list, the 1,000 point, the 1,250 point, these guys go all the way up to 21. So that is a lot. These guys are basically bullet sponges. They have the same rules as the Totem Corps, like the German zombies. I just modeled mine as mummies for being more thematic. Yeah, I think the more flatter I get that, the more it's going to kind of look more like sand. I don't know if I've shown you Shells. We actually finished the tank. Make way for these guys. I always like showing off the tank because Mrs. Tiki actually helped me out with the tank. So I'm always happy to show off what she did. So there is our tank. You can see the hieroglyphics she drew on. That's the awesome Tesseract glow, which I'm sure you're used to. Shells Iron with all your Necrons, the Tesseract glow paint. It's even got a hieroglyphic on the front. You know, the big old glowing thing that's called the Eye of Horus. Very Egyptian style tanks. I'm actually pretty cool. Pretty happy with the way that turned out. I used a buddy of mine, Mad Larkin, gave me some advice. All I did was I hit it with the worst thing in the world, which is Citadel white paint. I know, gasp, horror, shock, clutch your pearls. It was rough to use. Oh god, you can see that. This thing is so hard to use, Citadel white paint. But I went over it with a white paint, and then I went over it with several thin layers of a Tesseract glow. With a lot of shaking. A lot of shaking. Talking like, I think I spent like an hour on stream just reapplying layer after layer after layer. I think it's the only time I've ever, like, quote unquote thinned my paints or used thin layers. But thanks for saying it looks nice, man. Especially coming from you. That's high praise indeed. I appreciate it. Your freehanding of that pyramid, man, that's awesome. Well done on that. Those you all haven't seen, I know a lot of people a lot of people from your channel are nice enough to come over and watch my streams, so I'm always appreciative. It's always happy to see people like that. What's going on, God of Iron? But for those of you who don't know, Shells of Iron is a fantastic painter, and he's working on a night right now, and it's been a blast to watch. It's like, if you want to see what painting's not supposed to be, if you want to see how to, like, you know, slap chop a massive army quickly, you can watch this one, definitely, you know. But if you want to see, like, quality painting, go watch his streams, man. It's very impressive what he can do. Hopefully I'm not making him blush, but the talent is seriously impressive. Nice. Alright, now I'm going to do the surrounding part on that. What's going on, God of Iron? What are you up to, man? Are you just chilling, waking up early, staying up late? Are you painting alongside? Always happy to see people in the chat. Usually you talk me up too much. No, I just put you in front of them, Shells. I'm hyping you up so I can hide behind you, so that they come at you with their years of praise. You're my sacrificial paint shield. You're like that nice pizza place where people like try pizza and critique. I'm like gas station pizza. Like, you know it's not going to be that good, but it's, you know, it's always there and it's available, you know? Low-hanging fruit. So if I keep hyping you up, they'll go after you first. Oh. I feel like this isn't even paint, it's more like spackling. But yeah, for those of you in the stream, usually only go for 2 hours, but I'm going to start trying to push out to 3 hours, and hopefully in the future, my primary objective is to get to 4, and stream 4 hours, you know, Saturday morning and Sunday morning. I say morning, it's morning for me. I'm Eastern Standard Time for the US. But, you know, I figured it's different times all over the world, so hopefully we'll give different people something to watch. But yeah, hopefully, I plan on hitting 4 hours each one. That'd be really cool for each stream. He's like, be careful. It's a slippery slope. Yeah, you're not wrong. Because I still put out videos too. Not very many, mind you, but you know, I'm still trying to put out my videos. So Wednesdays, with no set schedule. I used to try and drop videos at like noon. But now I just try and drop them at some time on Wednesday, because I always get called into work, it seems like. So I kind of post them when I can. But I do either unit lore videos for Conflict 47 or actual lore, depending on the country and the time frame. But I got some other stuff in the pipe. I was bored at work and I couldn't paint, so I messed around with AI and I made another AI song. So I'm pretty excited for that. Hopefully I'll drop that Monday. If you've seen these streams, the outro song I actually made using AI. But I got some other video ideas in the works. Still Conflict 47 related. I'm kind of focusing more on that than anything else. Yeah, still put out a lot of videos, so the stream I just like to do to kind of try and slay my gray. All right, 4 down. Ooh, I thought I was only at 3. There we go, 4 down, 2 to go. Very nice. Yeah, you're not. Well, I think I was talking in your stream earlier about how much editing gets me down. So when you edit like a full video with like all the clips and videos and stuff like that, it's a lot of work. These streams, you know, once it's done, it's uploaded. You're like, oh, that's kind of nice. Like now I get why people stream. It's actually pretty nice, and it's cool to see the instant back and forth and feedback from people in the chat. Yeah, I don't know about 5 hours. I think 4 hours each one is definitely gonna be my cap unless I got something super important going on. Like right now, this army is being vowed for a painting competition, not for quality, mind you, but for quantity of points. And the vows are due at the end of the month. So that's why there's other models I have built that I've been wanting to paint on streams. I'm not working on the same models over and over, but I need to get these done by the end of the month. So I've been focusing real hard on these guys. Yeah, so like I said, I'm a one-man show, always will be, never for profit. But so editing, oh god, that takes up so much time. I have to wait until it's like quiet, and then I'll do all my voice recording, and then it takes me like another day or two of just pure editing to get all that done. But it's fun. It's cool once you get it done. It's fun to have videos out there. I've had some trials and some different errors, but ultimately I'm pretty happy with my my long form lore videos, because they're almost like kind of like mockumentaries. Like I use real World War II footage, and I splash in pictures of Conflict 47 units and stuff like that. So I try to get it as close to like a war documentary as I can, and I read directly from the book. Very rarely do I substitute anything else in or edit anything. It's definitely a lot of fun. But yeah, those videos, that's why I do like one a month. They take the wind out of your sails pretty quick. I look forward to these streams every week. It's super nice because it means it's getting close to the end of the week for me. I still work Saturdays myself, but it's getting close to the end of my work week, and always it gets me almost, how do I say this? It gets me guaranteed hobby time. You know, and I think that's what I'm really loving is, you know, I don't have to sit by and watch my models go like a week without being painted or built. You know, having this stream, it's the best way to think about it is it's like having a gym buddy. Y'all who show up in these streams and chat with me and stuff like that and talk with me, it's almost like having a gym buddy. You guys kind of keep me honest and keep me doing these streams, which I appreciate. It kind of gets me to log in, you know, twice a week and sit down at least for 2 hours each day, if not more, to kind of like knock out some of these models, which is always a good thing too. I'm never upset. I never like log off a stream and be like, oh my god, that was, oh man, you know, I'm always like, oh, that was awesome. I look and I see the work I got done, I'm like, hell yes. You know, I took, you know, 2 more steps towards getting to that goal. So that's why I tell anyone, you know, if you just have a cell phone, it doesn't matter what you have, you know, just whatever you have, stream if you can, because it's a great way to slay your gray. Yeah, so I see where you say that. 40K is the more popular of the hobbies, I think, and there are a lot of people doing narration. Without being too weird, you do have a good voice quality to you, man. You have a very relaxing, soothing voice. I think you doing narration would be kind of cool, but what I would do is I would just focus on a particular faction. So there's a lot of people who do lore for everything, you know, but I would pick something like Necrons or something like that and just do like a full, like, encompassing like Necron narration. Well, I said narration. Necron narration, you know, or Necronation, or whatever you want to call it. You know, in the background, do like some Egyptian style music, you know, and really kind of make it unique like that. And I think that would be pretty cool. Yeah, I think if you focus on a faction and kind of like put your own stamp on it and make it unique, and as long as you have fun doing it, I think that's the important part. I think it'll go well, because there's never too many narration videos, especially if you have a unique style to yours, in my opinion. You know, what do I know? But yeah, as long as you have fun doing it, I mean, people are always looking for something else to listen to. A lot of people drive to work or are looking for a new Warhammer 40K video, not something they already have. Actually, yeah, let me ask you, Shell, because I've seen you paint different kind of models. If you had to pick a favorite faction for the lore, what is your favorite? I haven't read any of the Necron books. I need to. I hear the Necron novels are absolutely amazing. Yeah, everyone keeps telling me it's almost like a buddy cop. That's what it feels like. It feels like a buddy cop book or movie. You know, these two guys who are immortal, you know, are always kind of like at odds with each other, sometimes helping each other, sometimes not. It's just them throughout the whole course of history. Sounds kind of interesting. I said I got started with the Gaunt's Ghost books, the Battlefield Gothic books, which are out of print and prohibitively expensive and hard to find. I read them way back in the day. They're really good. It's a shame they're hard to find now. That's always the thing I thought Warhammer 40K got right. No matter how much, you know, I guess modern day controversy people feel about certain things, model release, prices, this and that. I mean, people can go on and on. But I think what they did right was their factions. They really do have interesting factions. A mixture of look, name, lore, stuff like that. I think that's what GW definitely got right. Their factions are very, very interesting. Yeah, so I haven't read about the squats, or I guess you can't call them squats anymore, the Votan. But from what I read, you know, they kept them very like space dwarvish, which I think was a shame. I would have loved to see the Votan as more like a kind of like a cyberpunk, you know, like profit-hungry corporation, kind of like the way they look at doors in Lord of the Rings. So they delved too deeply. They were too, you know, they had the gold sickness over the gold, or the dragon sickness over the gold horde and stuff like that. I would have loved to see that in space with the Voltan, where they're just super greedy profits. You know, the typical, like, you know, there is no OSHA. Like, oh no, we lost 3 miners today, but our profits are up, you know, 0.5%. Like, oh, it's a good day then, you know? So I would have loved to see that for the Votan, like a very, like, corpo space mining consortium style. That would have been cool. Still kind of hard though. That's awesome. Like I said, I haven't checked out their lore either. I think they have super cool models. I'm surprised they didn't just kind of like roll them in with the towel. That's what I kind of thought they were gonna do. They're unionized. Like Planet Crackers Local 5562. We don't suffer no scabs. Oh, now you're giving me a fun idea for a book. I would love to see Gene Stealer Cult and Votan like fighting subterranean and mines, like doing underground combat. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. Gene Stealer Cult with all their mining and stuff, fighting the Votan for like mining rights. You know, doing a lot of like tunnel warfare and stuff like that. That would be neat. And you could just have them like tunnel deep enough to accidentally stumble upon Necrons and wake up some Necrons. It's because GSC is always the correct answer. It's the only faction that really kind of makes sense to me when you kind of zoom out and think about it, because you know no one's really lying to them. It's like, hey, yeah, worship us, and these entities are going to come from the sky and devour the whole planet, and you're going to become part of that species, which technically they do. You know, when the Tyranids eat them. Praise the Forearm Emperor. I'm telling you. It's going to be a game changer. He's going to wake up and have 4 arms. Everyone's going to lose their mind. He's like, yeah, I told you guys that, you know, that was the one cult I liked the whole time. Everyone's like, oh, you can't do that. They're a heretical cult. I was like, they're no more of a cult than the Tech Priest are. The Mechanicum. You know, we all worship the Emperor. It's just sometimes the Emperor has 4 arms. That's alright. More arms to love you with. More arms to beat Horus with. No, I really liked their models, their model line, and I liked in earlier editions when you could like really ally them with the guard and have like brood brothers. It was a really cool idea because they fought a lot more like guerrilla warfare. So yeah, exactly. They give themselves. Look what they need to mimic a fraction of our power. They have to give themselves mechanical arms. But no, on the tabletop, the GSC functioned almost like a almost like the GLA for Command & Conquer's General, like a very guerrilla-based faction. It was a lot of fun to play as, because you always felt like the underdog. If you won, it was super awesome. If you lost, you're like, ah, that kind of makes sense. You know, I'm just a small Gene Stealer cult. They were fun to play on the tabletop. Fun lore. There's a couple books. The books are actually pretty good. I think it's like Day of Ascension, and I think there's another GSC book. They're both pretty good. The one book I do recommend to people, if you're in like a 40k, right, you want to read 40k lore, but you're not sure what you want to read, Double Eagle, if you can find it. Double Eagle, written by Dan Abnett, the guy who did Gaunt's Ghost. It follows the Fantine Air Corps, and it's aeronautical warfare, so it's like aircraft, and it's the Imperials versus Chaos, and it's them, you know, operating an air base. So it feels a lot like Battle of Britain, or almost like Battlestar Galactica, but it's in the Warhammer 40k setting. Super interesting. Alright, not bad. We just have one little mummy at the base. And I missed some spots in the other guy. I'm gonna go back and get him. But a hell of a lot of progress for one stream, which I appreciate you guys showing up for and helping out. Yeah, I wish the Battlefield Gothic books were made available, because the way they covered space combat is just so interesting. It's so well done. It's a mixture. If you like, well, I'm also biased. I really enjoy Age of Sail. So, you know, like Master and Commander and books like that. So if you enjoy those kind of books, you know, the Warhammer 40k space combat is very similar to that. You know, there's boarding parties and away teams and ratings, and ship-to-ship combat is just absolutely so gruesome. Like, I think there was a boarding party of like Dark Eldar, and they just like use their like hover technology to fly through the passageways and in and out of the engine room, and the way they describe their weapons just slicing into people, and they keep capturing the crew to take as slaves. It was, God, it was so cool. I don't know why GW isn't leaning more towards the Battlefield Gothic thing. Maybe they can't copyright it, I don't know, but the books are so hard to find now. They're not available electronically. They're not audiobooks. You have to go on Amazon or a bookstore and try and find them in print, and they're pretty expensive. But they're so damn good. Hey! Yeah, I saw where your videos pop up. I was like, who the hell is a Prodigy astronaut? Then as soon as I saw it, I was like, hey, it's the guy who killed me with a shovel. I know him. What's going on, brother? We're just talking about Warhammer 40k lore. What are some good books? I was just telling Shells of Iron, if you can find them, I highly recommend the Battlefield Gothic books or Double Eagle. So some of the Battlefield Gothic books are Mortal Fuel is a short story you might be able to find on like Black Library. But it's Shadow Point and Execution Hour are the two big ones. I saw there's a Rogue Trader book out now. I guess that's to kind of boost the popularity from the game. I should probably try reading that, but I'm not sure how well it does space combat. But if you can find Execution Hour or Shadow Point, they are ridiculously good. Yeah, so Evan, I'm just finishing up these the mummies and basing them, getting a feel for this this technical it's the Agrodolarian or whatever. It's the Badlands one. It's pretty thick. Trying to see how I like it. Trying to get it flat. I think I'm gonna dry brush over it. But I wanted to see what the basing looked like on these guys before I wanted to break. Needed a break from batch painting my cultists. They were driving me crazy, which kind of goes hand in hand for cultists, you know. So there's that. But the cultists are mostly done. I was gonna go back and individually fix the spots that I missed and the mistakes I made, and then base them. And then that'll be this last vow done just in time for Mordian's Troop in the Colors. Not a massive point change. I don't think it's gonna like lead to an upset in the balance, but you know, 500 points, not bad. Basically a whole demo army. That's right, I'm holding all my Chihas. I'm getting ready for Kriegsmas. That's gonna be Tank Central. Hard part is I'm trying to get this as flat as I possibly can, so when it dries, like the other ones, it dries all kind of like crackly. That's what I'm going for. Like for the battle mire, for the mud, I like it to clump on there. Gives it a good look. But for this one, I'm trying to get it to go on as dry as I can. Yeah, I was telling a story earlier when I got this this technical brush. You know, I thought I got basically taken for a ride. You know, like, I don't need that. I could use anything, but I'm not gonna lie, I've used it for years now, and it's just been highly effective. Huge fan. If you use the technical paint from Citadel, I recommend, if you can find one, it's not outrageously expensive, pick up one of these little technical brushes. They're nice. would be excited to finish this Val and get back to painting something a little bit more on brand, a little bit more tropical to match the music and the setting and stuff like that. Going back to my Japanese, but definitely want to finish this Val. I don't want to be. I think I've done 2 painting competitions so far with Morning Glory, and so far I haven't become an Oathbreaker yet. If you break your vow, you get known as an Oathbreaker. You know, you don't want that, so. I fulfilled all my oaths so far. I don't feel like breaking one yet. Like I said, it killed me because when I had that whole mess of Japanese to build in a week, you know, I could have vowed them and that would have been great, but I don't want to break this vow. One must be a man or woman of one's word in this world. Luckily, the stream really helped me kind of chip away at this kind of stuff. Sorry for a long pause there. I was refilling my coffee and taking a big drink. Don't want all the slurping sound effects on the on the video, of course. It seems like going back to bolt action, it seems like everyone's 3rd edition rulebooks are shipping. Started yesterday, so hopefully everybody will get their rules soon and we'll start seeing some 3rd edition games. Well, hey man, thanks for swinging by, Shell. I appreciate it. I know you had a long stream yourself, man, and it was great. But thanks for swinging by mine and hanging out for a bit, man. It means a lot. I look forward to your next stream, man. Thanks for swinging by. Take it easy, brother. Yeah, check out those books if you can, man. Either Double Eagle, which is easy to find, or if you can find Shadow Point Execution Hour, I think you might like them. If you want something different other than just Space Marines all the time. Alright, let's let these bases dry for a little bit. So we have our mummies, we have our cultists. I'm already starting to I'm really liking the look of the base. Debating if I want to try dry brushing tonight. Yeah, I'll probably try dry brushing it real quick. So that was a regular tan up against the base. You can tell it's kind of more sandy. Good parts of it showing up. Alright, there's that. Let me grab a dry brush. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I don't mean to worry you, but we're about to have an experiment right here on stream. We'll see how this turns out. I've never done this. Kind of excited to see how it turns out. We're going to be dry brushing a color onto this Badlands to kind of see how it turns out. So far, it's mostly just bristles getting in there. Let me change up the music. No, I don't think I like it. So they're looking at it like, I don't know. No, I'm just taking too much back to its original color. I was dry brushing some Armageddon dust. I don't think I like the, I don't know, I don't think I like the effect it had. Oh, no worries, that's what I love about this hobby. You know, test something out on one model. You know, like, I don't really like it, no big deal, because now I can just go back over that model and fix that one. Well, it was a fun little experiment, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure a more talented painter than I could have made that work a little bit better. I've dry brushed that a little bit better, where it's kind of like low lights, you know. I may try again, but for now, let me fix the damage that I did. Well, we got the cultist mostly finished, except for individual touch-ups and finishing up mistakes. And then, of course, they need to be based. Our lieutenant needs to be based. And luckily, the mummies are done. The mummies are fully painted and based. So that means the mummies and the tank are fully done for this army. I actually have been in cahoots talking with someone to get some Conflict 47 games going and actually hopefully get them pictures taken so I can do some bat reps on them. So hopefully you'll see this, this demo army actually get used on the tabletop. It's pretty gnarly for just 500 points. That it has a Panther X, which is pretty insane. It's going to be a lot of armor to try and crack. Like I said, I'll let the opponent use it while I try and use my Japanese. But a Panther X and a couple of these, 6 of these Totem Core at 500 points, that's pretty brutal. Well, for y'all on the stream, I appreciate y'all showing up. Appreciate you guys chatting. Hopefully it was chilled. Hopefully it was relaxing. That's always my goal. Always kind of show you what not to do in painting as well. Figured I'd pay for quantity over quality, as it were. Like I said, I think it was a lot of fun. Like I said, this was me kind of testing out how I feel about doing 3 hours. So I think tomorrow is going to be another 3-hour stream. You know, I'll start at 2 a.m. Eastern, and probably go for 3 hours. Maybe in the future I'll start doing 4-hour streams. You know, get a little bit more as I get more armies to kind of paint. But so for coming up for the next week, I actually have a new song that I've messed around with AI coming out. Hopefully I have that out by Monday. I'm hoping for maybe a shorter lore video on Wednesday, other than just a short. I know I've been putting out a lot of shorts, but my goal is to try and get all the Rift Tech units covered that come in the Conflict 47 starter boxes. So that's what I've been focusing on with those unit shorts. But I'm hoping to actually get a lore video out this week. I'm hoping to have some time off. And once I get that merch design, that'll start being on my videos as well. With that merch, again, I take no profit. None of that goes in my pocket. Any shirt bought, it's really just kind of for fun, you know, and all the proceeds of that go directly to funding the Clash of the Caribbean, my bolt action tournament, in September of next year, 2025. So that's what that's for. But if you guys have any units that you particularly want to see for Conflict 47 or any questions about Conflict 47, you know, these streams are the best way to get a hold of me. You know, drop something in the chat, be like, hey, I want to know about Galahad suits, or I want to know about the Siberian Terrors. You know, that's where you kind of let me know, and I'll kind of put those higher up on the list of stuff to get done. Again, I appreciate those of you guys who stuck with me the whole stream. Like I said, I know batch painting isn't always the most exciting thing. I'll try and have something different to work on tomorrow, something that's not these cultist or mummies. But I needed to get through it, so I appreciate you guys sticking with me during the batch painting. We did get to test out our basing. We got our mummies base, which is actually really awesome. So I'm pretty excited for that as well. That actually worked out way better than I thought it would. I'm actually pleasantly surprised how well that turned out. But like I said, if you guys are open and available for it, I'll be streaming again tomorrow, same time, 2 a.m. Eastern. I'll probably go for 3 hours again, maybe 4. Who knows? We'll see. But the goal of these streams is always just to be kind of a relaxing place for you guys and girls to come to. Regardless if you're staying up late, you know, or if you're waking up early, if you have the day off, you're heading to work. I just kind of try to want to put something out there. Kind of like how Toonami and Adult Swim was when I was a kid growing up. Just something habitually that'll be there. Maybe not the best content, to be truthful, but, you know, something there, somewhere you can kind of swing by, chat in, listen to in the background if you want, maybe comment, you know, interact if you'd like. Just a kind of a chill place. Because I don't know if you guys noticed in YouTube, there's always a lot of stuff going on. It seems like there's drama flying around everywhere in every single kind of hobby space. Doesn't matter what it is, from video games to miniatures to movies. It seems like there's a lot of drama going everywhere. So I'm trying to go for like a super chill, kind of laid back environment. And hopefully that's coming across. I see a lot of the same names swinging by, which is super awesome. I'm always glad to see you guys. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. And if you guys are going to bed, I hope you have a great night. You know, get some good sleep. If you guys are heading to work, I hope you have a great day, because you definitely deserved it. But ultimately, I hope you guys stay safe and stay hydrated. And ultimately, don't forget to relax today, because you're on Tiki time.
Shipwrecked soldiers on wooden sand, type 30 rifles in hand, hula gals with sunburned smiles, no war drums, just beach for miles. Ghost park by Tiki lights, shadows dance in tropic nights, sand beneath where boots once stood, paradise ain't so misunderstood. Lost in waves and hula tunes, tiki drinks and months of moons, forgot the fight in distant lands, just surf and play with tired hands. Bunkers built from palm and hope, coconuts and crude soap, imperial dreams fade in sun, warriors turn beach bums. Shine to ocean gods we raise, praying for forgotten days, sake in the campfire glow, life's a surfboard ebb and flow. Lost in waves and hula tunes, tiki drinks and months of moons, forgot the fight in distant lands, just surf and play with tired hands. And hula tunes, tiki drinks and months of moons, forgot the fight in distant lands, just surf and play with time.